Still rather cloudy and misty this evening. Watch out for a few showers in Munster with highest temperatures 9 to 12 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
Off the ball.
In association with AIR. Don't miss live Allianz League's GAA action this month on the AIR Sport Pack, the home of Irish sport.
This is News Talk.
How's it going? You're welcome along to Thursdays Off the Ball. Nathan with you all the way through until 10 o'clock this evening, and we have a cracking show lined up. Yeah, slightly different Thursday to normal. Don't worry, John Giles will still be here, just at the slightly later time of 9 o'clock on the football show, because from 7:30 to 9 we're going to be bringing you the very best bits, and there's a lot of it, from last night's roadshow from Martin Johnson, Brian O'Driscoll, Eddie O'Sullivan and Nick Popplewell. There have been a few edits made, I've been told.
You've taken out all the Joe stuff.
Malloy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, TV's Joe Malloy presenting, of course.
Good, get rid of him. Rubbish. Keep Johnson, Popplewell and Woody in there.
Yeah, there was a bit of cursing, I'm told, some of which has been kept in.
Don't work blue.
Some of which it's had to be got rid of. But
surely
that's
Leo has shown today that you don't work blue in front of a live audience.
Oof. Martin Johnson, very nice man by all accounts.
Yeah, so Joe was
won over the crowd.
Yeah. He seems the charming sort. Outside of the outside of the pantheon of competitive sport. I mean, as soon as you're dragged into that, anybody can turn into a bit of a ne'er-do-well. But as soon as you're outside of it, he seems actually like a really level-headed, really on the level kind of guy.
He stood around afterwards and spoke to Adrian Barry for 15 minutes. So
that's a measure of his charity.
That's what I thought. Yeah. He took pity on Adrian. Adrian was raving about Martin Johnson.
My God, imagine being stuck in Adrian Barry's company for 15 minutes after a show. After your obligations are done.
Everything else is now forgiven for putting up with that.
And this Redzer from Westmeath corners you and starts to talk to you about stuff.
53106 is the text number. At Off the Ball on Twitter. We're live on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, all that jazz as always, so you can leave your comments. If you were there last night, let us know what you thought of it. The Ireland team has been named. We'll get to that in a moment. Good day for the Irish. Almost an incredible day for the Irish at Cheltenham. We'll check in with John Duggan in a moment. And as I say, football show coming up after 9 o'clock. I will have John Giles talking about Lionel Messi and talking about Manchester United as well. And we will check in on Southampton, where Mark Hughes has today been appointed as their new manager. I'm looking at your headlines, Richie. I see Cheltenham. I see that's your lead story. I see the Ireland team name, Grand Slam decider. Fair enough. Yeah. I see the assistant referee's been changed. I see Arsenal are playing in the Europa League. I'm still going on here. And I'm stunned that Tiger Woods' sparkling return at the Ireland Palmer Invitational is your fifth story. Where are the priorities, Richie?
It's round one, Nathan. Can you calm yourself?
Give the people what they want. Luckily, Golf Weekly is available and up for download
the
right
four
now.
or five people who advertise themselves as being, quote, friend of the pod is the audience that you're looking for me to pander here to.
I'm just saying, give the people
the multitudinal thousands out there that instead want to hear what happened at Cheltenham, want to hear what the Ireland team is, want to hear what Dylan Hartley has to say about Saturday's game, perhaps from an English perspective. But no, you're like, this Mickey Mouse warm-up tournament for the Masters. Let's hear what's going on in round one.
At Arnie's place. Bit harsh, Richie. Bit harsh. Let's go to Cheltenham. John Duggan is standing by. Evening, John.
Nathan and Richie, how are you doing?
Hey, John.
Very well. What a day it was for the Irish. 6 out of 7.
Yeah, nearly 7 out of 7 if Maldini had won the last. Missed approach, just beat him up the hill in the Kim Muir chase. But apart from that, it was an absolute bonanza for the Irish. Now 15 winners, so we can't be caught in terms of the Irish-English storyline.
Is that a big thing, John? Do people over there care about that?
I think English racing people should care about it because it's getting a little bit embarrassing now. It was 19 winners last year, which was a bit of a freak, but actually it's not a freak when you consider the way it's gone the last few years. And now it's becoming a little bit one-sided and a little bit worrying, I would say, for the English racing establishment. It's just a complete. I feel like I'm in an away punches town.
Is there much chatter about that over there, John, amongst the English press, that there is that seemingly an issue over the jumps for English racing?
I haven't really been able to get into their conversations and be able to kind of keep my ear to the ground, because it's just the thing about the Irish winners is Richie,
you gravitate towards one another, yeah.
No, but every 10 minutes you're speaking to Willie Mullins, you're speaking to Gordon Elliott, you're speaking to Davy Russell, because I thought I've spoken to Davy Russell for the day, but he's just written another winner. He wrote three of them today. Willie had the big winner of the big race, Penn Hill, in the Stayers Hurdle. He's got 7 winners now. He's now the most successful trainer in the history of Cheltenham, with 61 winners. Gordon Elliott has now 6 winners for the week. It's almost a private battle between the two trainers battling it out for the Irish Trainers' Championship.
Yeah, it's not so much Ireland against England. It's literally Mullins against Elliott has been transferred from Irish shores to English shores.
Yeah, and the first three winners today are in the silks of Michael O'Leary. So we have a lot of big owners at the moment in Ireland. Michael O'Leary, JP McManus, Rich Ritchie, Graham Wiley. Adam Potts was there for a while before he sadly passed away. And we're seeing that in terms of Willie and Gordon. They've got a very great eye for horse. They're great trainers. They've got good people in their yards to help buy them good horses. And we've seen that now in the last few years. Because the first year I came to Cheltenham in 2002, we had 5 winners. And that was seen as a good year. Now, if we don't have 5 winners in a day, it's seen as a bad day.
Who really stood out today then?
Well, it's always about the big race, and Penn Hill had not run for 323 days. He'd not run since Punchestown last year. So it's a remarkable training achievement from Willie Mullins to get him back. He wasn't sure if the horse was fit enough. The ground was soft. He won at the festival last year, but Paul Townend gave him a great spin. He kept him wide enough, and the horse showed a lot of class. He's actually owned by the owner of Brighton, or the chairman of Brighton, Tony Bloom, Penn Hill. So it's an interesting connection there. But Super Sunday was a little bit unlucky in that he just found one too good. So that was probably the main story. Undeso was beaten in the Ryanair chase for the first time in 15 years. The actual sponsor won the race, Michael O'Leary at the Balco de Flo for Henry de Bromhead of County Waterford. This was a bit of a surprise winner because we all thought the Balco de Flo would have handled soft ground a lot less effectively than good grounds. But Davy Russell gave it a great spin. He's riding with such confidence at the moment, Davy. He also rode a great ride in the Storyteller to win the Kim Muir, not the Kim Muir, rather the Festival Plate, rather. And he had the Pertemps winner, Delta Work. So treble for Davy on the card, a treble for Gordon. Delta Work shattered love in the first with Jack Kennedy in the saddle, and of course the Storyteller as well. And then the other Willie Mullins winner today was Lorena at 7-4 on, probably the easiest winner you'll ever see at Cheltenham in the Mares Hurdle over 2 miles. So it was an absolute bonanza, as I said earlier on, for the Irish. And this Gold Cup day, of course, tomorrow.
Is Lorena a potential champion hurdler?
It's very early to say. I mean, first of all, she's only racing against her own sex. We need to see her against the boys, and we saw Apples Jade running the Mares Hurdle early this week, and she'd beaten the boys, and she couldn't even win the Mares Hurdle. So let's not get carried away, but it was very impressive.
And tomorrow, as you mentioned, is the final day, but the big day, the Gold Cup. Nicky Henderson looking for a pretty unprecedented treble of 3 of the biggest races of the week.
Yeah, that's right. And, with all the Irish English talk, he did win the champion hurdle, he did win the champion chase. He is almost the last bastion at the moment in terms of the home defence. And he saddles this favourite Might Bite. When these classic horses that everybody's got an opinion one way or the other, you're either with him or you're against him. He's a very exuberant jumper. He gallops all day. But he has his own ideas, as I've affectionately called him in the past, a head case. He does his own thing. Last year he was about 15 lengths clear coming to the last, and then he starts looking around and he starts veering towards the stables. Was caught by Whisper up the hill. Then Might Bite was concentrated again, rallied and won by a nose. In the King George he was well clear, but then again he idled in front and was only a length or two up at the end. So we don't know how he's going to handle the extra quarter of a mile. We don't know how he's going to handle the soft ground. And he could tee it up for other horses like Native River, the Irish horse Archduke, trained by Jessica Harrington, Willie Mullins' Kilota Vic, and a horse trained in Yorkshire called Definitely Red, who won the course here in January in heavy ground. They are all stayers. And if they're there or thereabouts near Might Bite with a furlong to go or 2 furlongs to go or a couple of fences out, it could be quite a close finish. No Meat has Road to Respect in the race as well, who won at Christmas to Leopardstown. There's also a good story, Joseph O'Brien's Edwolf, who nearly died at the course last year, won last time out at Leopardstown, won the Irish Gold Cup, and he's the man to Derek O'Connor. So a lot of good plot lines in the Gold Cup. It's 3:30 tomorrow. Of course, it's the Blue Ribbon, the biggest race in steeplechasing, and I think there'll be a good story whoever wins it.
I dare say Might Bite won't be the only head case at Cheltenham tomorrow.
Well, I don't know if you're talking about me, but
No.
70,000 people, Nathan. It's like a football stadium here, and people just need to pace themselves. I think that from what I've seen in previous years.
Very good, John. You'll be back tomorrow morning. You've been pacing yourself, no doubt, but you will be back tomorrow morning on OTB AM 7:45 with Adrian and Owen, and we get all their tips.
Yeah, and I mean, I wonder how many Irish people are going on the train to Twickenham as well tomorrow night. Just another thing to consider. A lot of people are tying in both Cheltenham and Twickenham tomorrow and Saturday.
Yeah, what a weekend it could be. Great stuff as always, John. We shall talk to you tomorrow evening once again. Guys. John Duggan there at Cheltenham on a brilliant day for the Irish, Richie.
Yeah, we'll hear a little bit more about that brilliant day. As John mentioned, it was 7 winners in total now for Willie Mullins at the end of today. A couple of them today. Paul Townend winning the 12-1 shot Penhill to victory, as we heard in the Stayers hurdle, and Mullins and Townend combined for the second time with Lorena, a comfortable odds-on winner of the Mares Novices hurdle. Mullins was keen to pass on the credit for Penhill's win in the Stayers.
I think a lot of the kudos must go to Holly Conte, who leads her up and rides her out every day, and she gets her warmed up. You know, this horse is very fragile, and he takes a lot of minding, and when Holly has him warmed up in the morning, tells me how he is, and then she says she more or less lets me train him. But I would say all the kudos to her, because he takes a lot of minding, and she got him here really rather than me.
It was another treble, as we heard today, for Gordon Elliott, bringing his festival tally to 6. The Meath trainer got off to a fine start with Shattered Love, a 4-1 victor in the JLT Novices Chase. That was followed by Delta Works' 6-1 win in the Pear Toms, and the hat-trick was complete with the Storyteller, a 5-1 winner of the Brown Advisory Plate. And after that win, Elliott spoke with Racing UK.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Listen, for Joe and Pat Sloan, they're big supporters of my yard, and they're with me since I started. David gave the horse a peach. I thought he was one of my naps at the meetings last year, and he pulled the muscle week before Cheltenham. This is my horse for the Martin Pipe last year, and he went wrong. So listen, he's a good horse, and delighted for the Sloans. Brilliant.
You often need a novice in this type of race, but did it concern you his relative lack of experience?
Yeah, that was my big worry. I was very worried. They said he was novice, but I liked him, and he won. It was brilliant.
Travelled like a dream through the race.
Oh, it was great. It's great. Ran around up the straight, and it gave me a bit of a fright, but I'm absolutely thrilled.
And where does this day rank among all the others at the festival for you?
Listen, winning the Gold Cup is something else, but we whatever happens, with 6 winners last year in Cheltenham, I said, geez, if I get one, I'd be delighted this year to try and level that. It'd be brilliant. But look, just to be in the position I'm in with the owners I have, the staff I have, the team behind me, it's just unbelievable. It's a big team effort, and we'll enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be a big day as well tomorrow for Elliott. There was finally a victory even for owner Michael O'Leary, as John mentioned, in the race that he sponsors. The Henry de Bromhead trained Balco de Flo won the Ryanair Chase at 8-1, coming home 4.5 lengths ahead of the odds-on favourite Undeso. An 8-1 shot missed approach broke the Irish dominance in the final race of the day, the Amateur Riders Handicap Chase.
All this week we have teamed up with Outdoor Revolution. It takes place in the RDS Saturday and Sunday 24th and 25th of March. You can join Sean Kelly, David Gillick, Stephen Hunt, Ross Purcell, Niamh Briggs, Stuart Lancaster and many more for a fun interactive weekend with engaging discussions, fitness classes, workshops and cooking demos. Everyone who enters this week will be put into the overall draw to win a trip for 2 to the European Champions Cup final, including flights, accommodation and tickets to the game, with thanks to Fulfill Nutrition. Also today we have a chance to win a daily prize of a weekend family pass for Outdoor Revolution, along with a one-night stay at the Clayton Hotel in Ballsbridge. To enter, just name this mystery voice.
I had some weird emotions going on inside me.
Pretty simple one. If you know who it is, Outdoor, your answer and name, text that to 53106. That is 53106. Text costs 30 cents. We'll draw today's winner at the end of the show. Tune into Off the Ball on Sunday to who wins the overall prize of a trip to the Champions Cup final. It's all with thanks to Outdoor Revolution. Takes place in the RDS Saturday and Sunday week. That is March 24th and 25th. See outdoorrevolution.ie. So the Ireland team has been named.
Yeah, and just the one change from Joe Schmidt to that side that faces England in their Grand Slam decider on Saturday. Ian Henderson promoted from the bench to partner James Ryan in the second row, with Devon Toner dropping to the replacements. Despite having their training loads managed this week, both Rob Kearney and Peter O'Mahony are clear to start, as is Cian Healy, we should note as well. Oisin asked Schmidt about his solitary change today.
Joe, is it a bit of a risk? I suppose it's always a gamble as a coach picking a team, but Devon brings something different to Ian, so if you're chasing the game and maybe need ball carrying towards the end of it, maybe that's not something Devon does as well as Ian, or maybe they play a bit differently. So is it a risk starting Ian and keeping Devon in reserve?
I don't think so. Probably the risk, I would say, maybe goes the other way. Dev has called our line-out for a long time, and if you're chasing the game, you really need your line-out ball, and that's a great thing for Dev to come on and provide for us. In this equivalent fixture last year, Dev came off the bench for us and he finished off the game really strongly for us. So, there's always risks, and it's about managing them, and it's about calculating what's a lesser risk and also what's the greater opportunity. And we'd probably err toward the greater opportunity, and we want to keep giving people opportunity.
Now, Eddie Jones has made 7 changes to his size from the defeat to France. George Ford drops to the bench, with Owen Farrell moving from the centre to out half. Jonathan Joseph slots into the centre to partner ex-Leinster man Ben Teo. Scrum half Richard Wigglesworth starts ahead of Danny Kerr, while captain Dylan Hartley returns at hooker, with prop Kyle Sinclair in for Dan Cole, and George Cruz starts in the second row. And in the back row there starts as well for Sam Simmons and James Haskell. Hartley has been explaining their motivation for Saturday.
We're a good team. We're still a good team. 2 losses doesn't mean we're not a good team. Like I said, it's all part of our journey, and I think to end the tournament on a good result for us will be reward for a lot of work that's gone on this campaign. I think the guys owe it to themselves first and foremost, our crowd, and our general support. It's been fantastic all tournament, and like I said, we want to finish on a high.
Now, Marius van der Westhuizen has been stood down as an assistant referee for that match at Twickenham. Van der Westhuizen trained with the England squad earlier this week, and World Rugby says it wants more collaboration between officials and teams, but he shouldn't have gone there a few days before being involved in one of the England games. Nigel Owens instead will replace Van der Westhuizen as the second assistant referee for Saturday's game.
Yeah, we said it last night on Wednesday Night Rugby. It was inevitable. It was the only possible outcome, really. You couldn't have a situation, final minute of the Grand Slam decider, where there's any question mark about the official, which from Van der Westhuizen's point of view, listen, it's unfortunate, but it had to be. Arsenal.
They are looking to complete their Italian job tonight. They take a 2-0 lead over AC Milan back to the Emirates for the second leg of the Europa League last 16 tie. The teams are in for this one. Arsenal line up with David Ospina in goal, as he has been across all their cup competitions this year. Hector Bellerin, Shkodran Mustafi, Lauren Koscielny and Nacho Monreal make up their back four. In midfield, it's Granit Xhaka, Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere, with Mesut Ozil and Henrik Mkhitaryan either side of Danny Welbeck. For AC Milan, Gianluigi Donnarumma starts in goal. They've got Fabio Borini at right back, bless them, with Leonardo Bonucci even, Alessio Romagnoli and Ricardo Rodriguez in their back four. Suso, Frank Kessie, Ricardo Montalivo and Hakan Çalhanoğlu make up their midfield, with Patrick Cutrone and Andre Silva up front. Kick-off at 8:05.
All right, the Paddy Jackson and Stuart Olding's rape trial, it's now entered its final stages. Closing speeches getting underway today at Belfast Crown Court. The Ireland and Ulster rugby teammates deny raping the same woman at Jackson's home in South Belfast in June 2016. Two of their friends are also on trial, accused of various offences arising from the same alleged incident. Our courts correspondent Frank Graney joins us from Belfast now, and as always, we should warn you that the content of this trial can be quite distressing at times. Frank, can you tell us what the prosecuting barrister had to say to the jurors this morning? And I believe they also heard from one of the defence barristers.
Yes, that's right. So Paddy Jackson's barrister Brendan Kelly has divided his final address into 15 chapters, and he got through 6 of them before the court broke up for the day. He's due to pick up where he left off in the morning. But before I go into what he had to say, maybe let me first tell you about what the final words of the prosecuting barrister to the jurors were. So Toby Hedworth began by saying the law of this land is that a young woman is allowed to say no. He suggested what happened in the bedroom that night was a throwback to the days of male entitlement. He went through the woman's evidence, that is that Paddy Jackson pushed her onto his bed and raped her before Stuart Olding joined in and forced her to perform oral sex on him. They deny the charges, as she claims their friend Blaine McElroy then walked in completely naked. And it is the prosecution's case that a fourth defendant called Rory Harrison tried to cover up what's alleged to have happened, and they also deny the allegations against them. In relation to certain things she left out during conversations with her friends after the alleged incident, and Mr. Hedworth said experience shows complainants in these cases don't always give all the detail or get it all right. And he said that was for a variety of reasons, like fear or anxiety, genuine confusion, misplaced shame. He addressed certain criticisms of her evidence, including her delay in going to the police. And he said it was perfectly plain to see why she was initially reluctant to do so. She was worried she wouldn't be believed and would just be seen as a slut who was up for it. He described her experience in the various clinics she attended as traumatic and extremely stressful, and said that's why her accounts to medical staff differed in some ways to the account she gave to police. He asked what's in it for her if she made the whole thing up. What does she seek to gain by pushing herself through all of this? He asked who cares where the men went to school or what junior team they played rugby for or their level of success. He said it matters not whether you're a prince or pauper, and he finished by claiming that the men knew she wasn't consenting, and he invited the jurors to return guilty verdicts. Jackson's barrister then, Mr. Kelly, took to his feet and told the men and women of the jury they had to be convinced of guilt in order to convict. He warned them to leave emotion and sympathy out of their deliberations. He described her evidence as flawed by inconsistencies and untruth. He accused her of over-egging the pudding and of trying to paint a dark picture of his client. He asked why there wasn't even as much as a yelp out of her while that alleged attack was going on, especially considering it's such a small house, he said, and there were 8 adults in it. And in relation to the taking of a morning after pill, he said that was done to back up her lie. He said she just woke up and thought, my God, this could be on social media. This being the defence claim, her engaging in a consensual threesome. He said she decided to run a line of classic rape victim because she felt if it got out, she would be ruined. So he's about halfway through his address, and like I mentioned earlier, he's due to resume at 10 tomorrow morning, and then the other defence barristers will be given an opportunity to address the jurors for a final time.
Yeah, thanks for that, Frank. Frank Graney there, our course correspondent reporting from Belfast. Almost done, but a quick update in the golf.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, a sparkling return to form, as you mentioned, continuing at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He shot a 4 under par opening round of 68, which included a 71-foot putt for birdie, 3 holes from home. It's Jimmy Walker who holds the clubhouse lead on 5 under following a 67, but birdies at 6, 7 and 8 have moved Rory McIlroy out on course up to 4 under par as well. Graham McDowell, he's 3 under after a round of, 69 today. Padraig Harrington's 1 under par. He shot a 71, and Shane Lowry's triple bogey at the last saw him end the day on 3 over par.
All right, good stuff, Richie. Martin Johnson is up next.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
In association with the Air Sport app, allowing you to cast your favourite sporting action from your tablet or mobile phone straight to your TV.
Every Friday on the Moncrief Show, we do movies.